Hello everyone, welcome to KRD Training Solutions and myself Mohan. At this session we are going to discuss some of the Infosys analytical and mathematical reasoning model questions, and I hope this is going to be definitely helpful for you, so don't skip any part and watch the video till the end. Now moving to first question. A train is going from Mumbai to Pune and makes 5 stops on the way. Three persons enter the train after it has started from Mumbai with three different tickets. How many different set of tickets may they have had? So this is your question. Okay, we have a train and this train is moving from Mumbai to Pune. So let this be Mumbai and Pune. So starting station is Mumbai and ending station is Pune. And in between Mumbai and Pune, we have 5 stops, right? So we have 5 stops on the way. So stopping number 1, stopping number 2, 3, 4, and 5 stops. So we can name the stops as S1, S2, S3, S4, and S5 for our convenience. Now, 3 persons enter the train. So 3 persons enter the train after it has started from Mumbai. Okay, so it means they are not entering in Mumbai. They are not entering in the train from Mumbai, right? So either they will enter from station 1 or station 2 or station 3 or station 4 or station 5, right? Okay, and they have three different tickets. Now our question is how many different set of tickets may they have hold? Now assume if they enter at first station. So if they enter at first station, that is station number 1, they could have bought tickets for S2, S3, S4, S5 or Pune, right? So we totally have 5 tickets if they enter at station 1. If they enter at station 2, they could have bought tickets for station S3, S4, S5 and or Pune, right? So we totally have 4 tickets. And if they enter at S3, we will have 3 tickets. If they enter at station S4, they will purchase 2 tickets, or if they enter at S5, they have to purchase ticket for only Pune. So totally we have how many cases here? 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. So we totally have 15 tickets available. Now our question is, they are purchasing 3 different tickets. Now you have to find how many different set of tickets may they have hold. So we have 3 persons, right? And we have 15 tickets available. So from 15, they can get 3 different set of tickets. So it is 15C3. So when you solve it, you get 15 into 14 into 13 divided by 3 into 2 into 1. So it's 5 times, and here it is 7 times. So 5 into 7, we get 35. So 35 into 13, we get 455. So there are 455 different sets of ticket they may had. So this is our answer. Now moving to question number 2. Given that the sum of 3-digit numbers ABC, BCA and CAB is the product of just 3 distinct different numbers, distinct prime numbers, its maximum value can be equal to. Okay, so we have 3-digit numbers, right? So 3 digit numbers, and when you sum it, what you get? ABC, right? So you have first number ABC and second number BCA and third number CAB. Now when you add it, you get C plus A plus B. That is A, B, C, A plus B plus C. Again, B plus C plus E. Again, you have A plus B plus C only. So you can write A plus B plus C. And when you add the first row, I mean first column, A plus B plus C. Again, it is A plus B plus C. So in all the 3 numbers, you have A plus B plus C common. A plus B plus C. Now you can write it as 1, 1, 1. So triple 1 into A plus B plus C, you get this value. So definitely the answer is going to be the multiple of triple 1, right? Now you are supposed to find the maximum value, right? So you are supposed to find the maximum value in the given option. So we can start from the greater number. So what is the greater number here? 2553. So we have to check whether this 2553 is divisible by triple 1 or not. So 2553, when you divide by triple 1, so it's 2 times 2, 2, 2 and 33, and you have 3 here. So 3 times 3, 3, 3. So this 2553 is perfectly divisible by triple 1. So answer for this question is 2553. So if it is not divisible by triple 1, so we have to go with the second greatest number. So if nothing is divisible by triple 1, you have to choose none of these. So answer for this question is 2553. So answer is so simple, right? Now moving to question number 3. There are 25 horses, among which you need to find out the fastest 3 horses. You can conduct race among at most 5 to find out their relative speed. At no point you can find out the actual speed of the horse in a race. Find out how many races are required to get the top 3 horses. Okay, now you totally have 25 horses and you have to find out how many minimum number of races that you can conduct for these 25 horses, where in a single race only 5 horses can participate. And you can't find the actual speed of the horse in any of the race. And you have to find the top 3 horses in the race, right? By conducting minimum number of races. Okay, now what I'm doing from these 25 horses, I'm picking only 5 horses and I conduct a race, right? So after conducting a race, I am making the horse to be arranged in ascending order, right? So this is the lowest speed horse and second lowest and third lowest. So I have arranged in ascending order. So this is the fastest running horse and second fastest, third fastest, fourth fastest and fifth fastest. So I have conducted one race. And in second race, I can again pick 5 horses and I conduct a race and I making them to arrange in ascending order. Again in race 3, another 5 horses, and in race 4, another 5 horses, and in race 5, another 5 horses, right? So you have to find only top 3 horses. That means you can eliminate the last 2 columns, right? So you actually don't need the last 2 columns, right? So if you can eliminate this, so you can easily find the top 3 horses, right? Okay, now again you have to conduct the race for the fastest running horses. So actually the fastest running horses are these, right? So this column, last column. So you can conduct a race for the fastest running horses. And again you can align, that means again you can arrange these horses in ascending order. So this is the first fastest running horse, second fastest running horse, third fastest running horse, fourth and fifth fastest running horse. Now here you don't need this, actually you don't need rows up to first 2, so you can easily eliminate first 2 rows. Because now try to look at the possibility, right? So what are all the possibilities you have? So I'm changing the color for your convenience. Okay, I changed it as black. Okay, now you identify this is the first fastest running horse. Now I'm trying to explain the possibilities, right? So this could be the second fastest running horse, or this could be the third fastest running horse. So if first, second, and this will be third, or this will be, see, if this is first fastest running horse, this will be the second fastest running horse, and this could be the third fastest running horse. So if it is the fastest running horse, and if this is the second fastest running horse, and this could be the third fastest running horse. So however, you don't need to conduct a next race for these 3 horses, because if this is first and this is second and this could be third, and if this is first and this is second, this could be third. At no cost you don't need to conduct race for this horse now, right? Now you can eliminate the fastest running horse now, because you already identify this is the fastest running horse. So apart from this, you have how many more horses still pending? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 horses. Now you can collect these five horses, and if you conduct a race, so that is 7th race, you can identify the top 2 horses, and the first coming horse is the second fastest running horse, because already you found the fastest running horse, right? And the second coming horse in race 7 is going to be the third fastest running horse. So in this way you can easily identify top 3 horses from total 7 races. So answer for this question is 7. So this is highly puzzle oriented question, right? Now moving to next question, question number 4. Okay, so yes, 3 individuals, John Wright, Greg Channel, and Gary Critson, are in the race for appointment of new coach of Team India. The probability of their appointment are 0.5, 0.3, and 0.2 respectively. If John Wright is appointed, then probability of Ganguly appointed as a captain will be 0.7, and corresponding probability if Greg Chappell or Gary Kristen is appointed are 0.6 and 0.5 respectively. Find the overall probability that Ganguly will not appointed as a captain. So we totally have how many individuals? 3 individuals. Okay, I will write their names first. So John Wright and Greg Chappell, so it is, we can write it as GC, and Gary Christian, so GK, right? uh, are in the race for appointment of new coach of Team India. The probabilities of their appointment is, okay, see, the probability that John Wright is appointed is 0.5. So how you can write 0.5? You can write it as 1 by 2. And next, Greg Chappell is appointed as a new coach is 0.3. So how you can write 0.3? So you can write 0.3 as 3 by 10. Right, so 3 by 10 is nothing but 0.3. So you can write it as 3 by 10. And probability that Gary Christian appointed is 0.2. So 0.2 can be written as 2 by 10. That is nothing but 1 by 5. Right, so you can write it as 1 by 5. Now you identify the probability of their appointment as 1 by 2, 3 by 10 and 1 by 5. If John Wright is appointed, then the probability of Ganguly appointed as captain will be 0.7. So if John Wright is appointed, he will appoint Ganguly as captain, and their probability is 0.7. So you can write it as 7 by 10. So if John Wright appointed, then he will appoint Ganguly with the probability 7 by 10. Or if Greg Chappell is appointed, he will appoint Ganguly as captain, and its probability is 0.6. So how you can write 0.6? It is 6 by 10. Again, 6 by 10 can be written as 3 by 5. Right, so you can write it as into 3 by 5. Or if Gary Christian is appointed, then he will appoint Ganguly with the probability of 0.5. So 0.5 is nothing but 1 by 2. Right, so when you solve it, you will get the probability of Ganguly appointed. Right, so when you solve it, how much you will get? 1 by 2 into 7 by 10. So that is 7 by 20. And here you get 9 by 50. And here you get 1 by 10. So when we take LCM, we will get 100, right? So that is 35 by 100 plus 18 by 100 plus 10 by 100. So when we sum it, we get 63 upon 100. So the probability that Ganguly will appoint as a captain is 0.63. But you have to find the probability that Ganguly will not appointed as a captain. You know, the total probability is always equivalent to 1. So 1 minus 0.63, how much we get? It is 0.37. See, in the same options, you have 0.63 also, but you should not choose. You have to choose 0.37. This becomes your answer, right? Now moving to next question. A cask contains 12 gallons of mixture of wine and water in the ratio 3:1. How much of mixture must be drawn off and water substituted so that wine and water in the cask may be half and half? Right. Okay, now you have 12 gallons of mixture of wine and water. So 12 gallons you totally have. And you have the mixture of wine and water here. Wine and water here. And this wine and water in the ratio 3:1x. So totally we have how many parts? 4 parts. So this 4 parts is nothing but 12 gallons. If 4 parts is 12 gallons, then 1 part will be 3 gallons. So we have wine 3 parts. So we have 9 liters, 9 gallons of wine. And water you have 3 gallons, right? So we can write it as 3 liters for our convenience, right? Okay, so this is just a unit, right? So you have 9 gallons of wine and 9 gallons of water. Now, you are removing some mixture, right? So from this, you are removing some mixture and adding the same quantity of water in it, right? So you are removing some mixture and adding the same quantity of mixture. Now, if you remove m gallons, right? So if you remove m gallons of, the mixture, totally you are removing m gallons, right? So you are removing m gallons, but you don't know how many gallons, right? So here also you can mark it as gallons and gallons. You are removing m gallons. So if you remove totally m gallons of mixture, so it's totally 4 parts, right? So m gallons is nothing but 4 parts. So from these 4 parts, 3 parts will go from wine and 1 part will go from water, right? So from these 9 gallons, you will remove 3/4 of m gallons of mixture. And again, from the water, that is 3 gallons, you have to remove 1/4 of m gallons. And finally, you have to substitute the same quantity of water, right? That means again, you have to add m gallons of water so that the cask will contain wine and water in the ratio 1:1. Now, solve it, you will get the value of m. So when we solve it, how much we get? 9 minus 3m by 4 equivalent to 3 minus m by 4 plus m. While solving, 36 minus 3m equal to 12 minus m plus 4m. Then 4 get automatically cancelled in denominator, right? Okay. Now 24 equal to 6m. So what is the value of m? So value of m equal to 4 gallons. So answer for this question is you have to remove 4 gallons of mixer, and finally you have to add 4 gallons of water to make the wine and water in the ratio 1:1. That is half is to half, right? So answer is 4 gallons, right? So I'm writing the half is to half as 1 by 1, right? That is equal. 0.5 by 0.5 is nothing but 1, right? So that is 1 by 1. Okay, now moving to next question. Question number 6. A pedestrian and a cyclist start simultaneously towards each other from Aurangabad and Python, which are 40 kilometers apart, and meet 2 hours after the start. Then they resume their trips and the cyclist arrives at Aurangabad 7 hours 30 minutes earlier than the pedestrian arrives at Python. Which of these could be the speed of the pedestrian? So we have to find speed of the pedestrian. Okay, we have 2 cities named Aurangabad and Python. And here we have Python. And total distance between them is 40 kilometers. Pedestrian is starting from Aurangabad and moving towards Python, and cyclist is starting from Python and moving towards Aurangabad, and both pedestrian and cyclist are meeting after 2 hours. Let the point be Y. They are meeting at the point Y. Now after they meet, again they resume their trips, and finally, the cyclist is reaching Aurangabad 7 hours and 30 minutes earlier than the pedestrian, right? So the time difference between pedestrian and cyclist is 7 hours and 30 minutes. Now you can assume the speed of pedestrian. So pedestrian is the person walking, right? So we can call the walking person as pedestrian. So speed of pedestrian is p kilometer per hour, and he is actually traveling for 2 hours to reach the point, right? So he is traveling for 2 hours. So you can take the total distance traveled by the pedestrian for the 2 hours is 2p kilometer. Now, what could be the distance traveled by the cyclist during the same time? So if from 40 kilometers, if pedestrian covers 2p kilometer, then the cyclist will cover 40 minus 2p kilometer during the same 2 hours, right? So 40 minus 2p kilometer. So the cyclist will cover this 40 minus 2p kilometer in 2 hours. That means in 1 hour, the cyclist will cover how many kilometers? You have to divide this by 2. That is 20 minus p kilometer per hour. This will be the speed of the cyclist, right? Okay, now time equal to distance by speed. Now from this place, that is from Python to Aurangabad, the cyclist is covering how much distance? 40 kilometers, and his speed is 20 minus p kilometer per hour. Now the pedestrian is also covering the same 40 kilometers, but with the speed p kilometer per hour. That's the reason the pedestrian is consuming 7.5 kilometers higher than the cyclist, right? So here we can frame an equation. Now try to solve this problem. So when you solve it, how much we get? 800 minus 40p minus 40p equal to, see, 20 minus p into p, you get 20p minus p square. When you multiply this to right hand side, you get 7.5 into 20p minus p square. While solving this, we get 7.5p square minus 230p plus 800 equal to 0. Now you have an equation, right? Now when you solve it, 7.5 into 800, you get 6,000. While multiplying, you have to get 6,000. While adding, you have to get minus 230. So it's simple. Minus 200 into minus 3, you get minus 6,000. Now, the value of P is equivalent to 200, and you have 7.5 before, right? So you have to divide this by 7.5, and r p equal to minus 3, right? So it is 3 minus 3. I'm sorry, it's 30, right? So minus 200 into minus 30, you get plus 6,000. Minus 200 minus plus minus 30, you get minus 230. So this will be 30. So 30 by 7.5. Now when you solve this, you get 200 by 7.5 is 106.7 kilometer per hour. And while solving this, you get p value equivalent to 4 kilometer per hour. So which could be possible? See, 106.7 kilometer per hour means he could cover 106 kilometer in 1 hour, but actually the total distance itself 40 kilometer. So the only possibility is 4 kilometer per hour. So you have to find speed of the pedestrian. So speed of this pedestrian is 4 kilometer per hour. This becomes our answer. So the problem is based on time, speed and distance, but this question is puzzle type. Now moving to question number 7. A coin is tossed twice. If the coin shows head, it is tossed again. But if it shows a tail, then a die is tossed. If 8 possible outcomes are equally likely, find the probability that the die shows a number greater than 4. If it is known that the first throw of the coin results in tail. Okay, now we try to find the total sample space. Now first you are throwing a coin. If it shows a head, it is tossed again. Okay, now tossing the coin first. If it shows head, again you have to toss it, right? If it shows head, again you have to toss it. So when you get head for first time, when you toss it for second time, there is a chance you will get head for second time also. When you toss the coin first, when you get head, and again when you toss the same coin for second time, there is a possibility that you will get tail, right? But while tossing the coin at the first attempt, if you get the tail, you have to roll the die, right? So you have to throw the die, you have to toss the die. So what are all the possibilities you have? So while tossing the coin for first time, if you get tail, you have to roll the die. That is, you might get 1 r. With tail, you might get 2. With tail, you might get 3. With tail, you might get 4. With tail, you might get 5. With tail, you might get 6. So you have these many sample spaces. But our question is find the probability that the die shows a number greater than 4. So what you exactly need? You need the event. So you can take the event A. So A be the event that die shows number greater than 4. Right. If it is known that the first throw of a coin results in tail. Now you can take the second event. So B be the event where you will get first throw of coin results in tail. Okay. Now our first event is you have to get the die that shows greater than 4. So the dice that shows greater than 4 is only 2. Right. So you have the probability of event, that is A, is 2. And here what is the total number of sample space you have? That is the event B, right? So here the first throw of the coin, that is your first attempt, should be tail while throwing the coin. So here you totally have 6 cases, right? So that is probability of B, that is 6. So 2 upon 6, so answer will be 1 by 3. Now here you actually don't need to consider all the sample cases. All the sample spaces you don't need to consider, because in question itself they have given you have to consider only the first throw of coins is tail, right? So from this 8 you have to fetch only these six cases, right? So that is 2 by 6. You will get 1 upon 3 as answer. Okay, now moving to question number 8. Ten different letters of English alphabet are given. Words with 5 letters are formed from these given letters. Then the number of words which have at least one letter repeated is dash. Okay, you totally have 10 different letters, right? Now from this you have to find the number of words which have at least one letter, repeated. Now with these 10 different letters, how many English alphabet of 5 letters can be formed? So you can fill the first place in 10 ways. Through the 10 different letters, you can fill the first letter in 10 ways. And second letter can also be filled in 10 ways. Third letter can also be filled in 10 ways, fourth in 10 ways, and fifth in 10 ways. So totally you can frame 1 lakh different words with repetition. Now, without repetition, how many letters we can frame? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because you have to frame only 5-letter word, right? So, first letter can be filled in 10 ways. Second letter can be filled in 9 ways. Third letter in 8 ways. Fourth letter in 7 ways. And last letter in 6 ways. So, 10 into 9 into 8 into 7 into 6. We get 30240 words. But our question is number of words which have at least one letter repeated. So you have to find only repeated. So total letter is 10, total words is 1 lakh. From that subtract this 30,240. You get 06796. That is 69,760 letters. 60 words are there where with at least one letter is repeated more than once. So answer for this question is option E, 69,760. Now moving to question number 9. Serena and Venus were only two women participating in a chess tournament. Every participant played 2 games with every other participant. The number of games that men played between themselves proved to be exceeded by 66 compared to the number of games the men played with women. How many total games they played? Okay, this is our question. So we have only 2 women and we don't know what is the total number of men count. But each player is played with other player for two times. So this is given in the question. Since we don't know what is the total number of male, we can take the total number of men, right? So let the number of men be m. Let the number of men m, right? Now, every participant played 2 games with every other participant. Now, m number of men played with, so this m number of men will play how many games? MC2 games. Because to conduct a game, we need 2 participants. So from this m, we have to select 2 participants in MC2 ways. So here, this m number of men will play MC2 number of games. But our question itself say, each player played 2 games. That means you have to multiply 2 with this MC2. Now while solving, how much we get? 2 into m factorial by m minus 2 factorial into 2 factorial, right? Now you can write this m factorial as m into m minus 1 into m minus 2 into m minus 3 and so on, right? So you can write m into m minus 1 and m minus 2 factorial and m minus 2 factorial get cancelled as it is. And this 2 factorial and 2 value will also get cancelled. So you will be left with m into m minus 1, right? So the total number of male people played m into m minus 1 games. Now the games played with, we can take the games played with each woman be, now these male people played games with each woman is MC1. So in MC1 ways, they will play games with each woman, right? So this m number of men will choose 1 woman in MC1 ways. So that is MC1 is nothing but m. So we totally have how many women? 2 women, right? So that is 2m. But with each woman, they have to play for 2 times, 2 games. So you have to multiply 2 with this 2m. So that is 4m. So the games played with each woman is 4m days. Now look at the third statement. The number of games that men played between themselves proved to be exceeded by 66. So the difference between the games played between male as well as female is 66. Now you can frame an equation, right? So m into m minus 1 can be written as m square minus m minus 4m equivalent to 66, right? So let this be first equation and second equation. So difference between first and second equation is 66. So that is m square minus 5m minus 66 equal to 0. So you have an equation minus 66. While adding, you have to get minus 5. So minus 11 into plus 5. So you have to choose the value of m equivalent to only positive value, that is 11. So if m value is 11 and we found the total number of women is 2 and totally we have how many players? 11 plus 2, 13 players, right? Now you have to find how many total games they have played. So these 13 people have played 13C2 games, but they have played for how many times? So each of them played two games. So you have to multiply this by 2. So 2 into 13C2, right? So 2 into 13 into 12 by 2 into 1. So when you cancel this, you get 13 into 2. So the answer becomes 156. So they totally played 156 games. So answer for this question is 156. So again, this question is based on combination, but it is completely reasoning puzzle type. Now moving to last question of the session. A group of 1,200 people consisting of a captains and soldiers is traveling in a train. For every 15 soldiers, we have a captain. The number of captains in the group is dash. Okay, so here the common mistake we do is we totally have 1,200 people. We totally have 1,200 people. And for every soldiers, we have one captain. So that is 15 plus 1, 16 is a set, right? So 15 plus 1, 16 people are a set. So you have to divide this 1,200 by 16. But if you divide this by 15, you will get only wrong answer because you have to include this captain with the soldiers. So 15 plus 1, it is 16. So 1,200 by 16, you get 300 by 4. And again, when you cancel this, it's 7 times and 5 times. So you have totally 75 sets. So in the 75 sets, you will have totally how many captains? You totally have 75 captains. Answer for this question is 75. Hope you understood all the problems of this session, right? So in upcoming session, I will try to add some more problems related to Infosys. Until that, stay connected with CareerDeep Training Solutions. And if you found some other different shortcuts, please try to put it in comment section below. And thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.